Hi guys, it's me, King, and I'm here with Crazy Game Nerd, who's the best or one of the best F-Zero GX in the whole world. Not many people know about F-Zero GX, but it's pretty much the best single-player racing game. I say single-player because the multiplayer is not so amazing. So I'm going to be starting off by showing the world record, or a very, very good record, of story mode on very hard, all of 9 chapters. And if you guys like these videos, we might do more in the future. But with that said, I'm here with Crazy Game Nerd, and we're going to be showing off the levels, and he's going to be explaining a lot of stuff along the way as well. All right, and we're going to get right into it. So Chapter 1 is where you basically just collect a bunch of different items over the course of 3 laps in a time limit. And on very hard, you have less time. In addition to that, I think you get less boost per item or something, and they're placed in trickier to get locations. And you have to use something called like a quick turn to get a lot of these. Now, the quick turn is actually not something that you learn with the game. You have to figure it out on your own or look on the internet, but it's basically like the wave dash of Melee, like the dash dance, where it's pretty much essential.
Yes, that is correct. And another thing worth mentioning on very hard, since we're doing very hard here, the placement of the capsules here are made in such a specific way that if you miss them a certain way, you actually can't recover. So you have to be really careful about not trying to cut the corners too tight with the capsules. With that said, there are some instances where you can actually recover from it. You basically turn around by hitting the rail kind of in a specific way. That wouldn't even work in a casual run, because the only reason it works in our case is that we're using quick turns and something called anti-boosting, where we let go of the accelerator between the boosts in order to go a little bit faster. And over the course of 60 seconds here, it adds up. So if I had missed the capsules here, I would have been able to recover.
Wait, wait? When you hit the boost, you let go of the accelerator?
We let go of it at the end of it because there's actually a cooldown on the
Oh
boosting,
yeah, I know what you're talking about. So when you go at a super high speed, you go to you might go to like 1500 miles per hour, or whatever. But then it eventually goes back down to like 1300, 1200 or so. But it goes down to that faster if you're holding the A button. But if you release the A button, it decreases at a slower pace, right?
Yes, you are correct. So whenever you see the speed is, let's say, above 1400, we're gonna turn the engine off, because the deceleration rate is slower if you're at that kind of speed, unless you're boosting. If you're boosting, it's fine. Then you can still build speed. But at really high speeds, which we're going to see in the next chapter here, we actually want to not even boost, because we are going so fast that boosting would slow us down.
Yeah, it's just
that's actually another advanced technique called the shift boosting, which is highly advanced actually, where we basically go off the edge, and if we do it very precisely and get back on the track, we get a slow increase in speed, and we can basically stack that to pretty enormous speeds, which we are going to see now.
I love the speedrun for this stage, because it's just this the whole time, and every time you do that, you might kill yourself. It's harder than it looks.
Yeah, there is a pretty high probability of dying here, so when you do speedruns, this is actually one of the chapters where you're going to reset more. So the whole gimmick about this chapter is to avoid the boulders and outrace Samurai Guru, and well, the boulders doesn't even matter, because we're going so fast, the boulders doesn't even get to you. So that's chapter 2, you know.
That is not what it's supposed to look like. I just saw people who play this game casually, you actually have to like avoid the boulders and stuff, or like hope you don't get squished by them while racing Goro. But in the speedrun, the shift boosting is like, they didn't even intend you to do shift boosts when doing the run casually. Like, shift boost was only meant for a level called Sand Ocean lateral shifts, or very few other stages. Nobody thought that was going to be the way someone would play the game in chapter 2.
Yeah, you're right. The devs knew about the exploit, but I don't think they actually realized what you could actually do with it if you really put the effort into it.
I think that they just wanted that one stage called Sand Ocean lateral shifts to be designed for that. But all the other stages, they probably just like, well, you can do this, but super hard, so we're not expecting it.
So chapter 3 is doesn't really have any gimmicks. We're just doing a race, and as you can see with the quick turns, we can take the corners really quickly. And then we do a slide here, which is actually called MTS. and it allows us to angle ourselves into the air and use side attacks to gain speeds which you aren't really supposed to gain. So it's yet another unintended mechanic. But you know, this is a speedrun. We take advantage of the physics as much as we can to gain speed. So this track is just a pretty good variety of advanced techniques, like everything from dives, as you can see, to sliding, and even some shortcuts, like right here. It's a pretty fairly risky shortcut actually, because if you're going to far to the right there, you will actually explode as you hit the track, because there are actually a checkpoint system in this game. You can't just go to the other side of the track immediately. And you'll see it again here. Gotta go fast, you know. And,
Yeah,
chapter 3.
I remember doing some skips and thought that I was skipping an area, and then I just landed on an area and I exploded.
Yeah, that's alright.
Because of the checkpoint system.
We can explain more about checkpoints later if it's
It's just the way
confusing,
the
but
game's coded into like segment sections and stuff, basically.
yeah. Well, basically, there are two main aspects to it, but I don't think it will be all that relevant in story mode. So
Yeah, it's too advanced. But it's just the way it's basically the way the game's coded. If you skip too much at once, the game doesn't understand it, so it explodes you.
which is a good thing, honestly.
Yeah, it's to make sure the game's not broken too hard.
But anyway, we're doing chapter 4, which the gimmick here is that you're gonna have to take out all the gang members, and then you're just gonna outrace or kill Michael Chen. Actually, you have to kill Michael Chen. Even if you win the race, you basically lose. You have to kill Michael Chen.
I remember that.
So there are actually two ways to complete this mission. You either want to kill all the gang members, and Michael Chen will slow down and you can kill him. But if you try to outrace all of the gang members and go straight to Michael Chen, you can't actually kill him. Like he has like 10,000 health, and in comparison to you, you have like 100. So you can't actually kill him. So unless you take out all the gang members,
his health is too high.
Yeah, it gets reset back to normal, so you can finally kill him.
I didn't know about that. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's some research was done on that, and that's also the case for Samurai Goro. He has like 10,000. That's why he can boost as much as he wants on that chapter.
These guys are cheaters.
And it's also the case here. If you snake on this chapter, you'll see that Michael Chen is just, you can't catch up because
you can't catch up.
Boosting constant. He has infinite boost basically. So that was the first way to kill him, killing all the members. There is one exception. If you get to the last 5,000 meters, if you look at the corner, left corner, top corner, you'll see how much distance there's left. If there's 5,000 meters left, he will actually slow down and his health resets to normal. So you can kill him even if you haven't killed all the gang members. However, we did actually kill all of them, so as you see, he slowed down earlier. And this can actually be pretty dangerous, because if he decides to attack,
then you're gonna get more damage because he's a stronger vehicle.
Yeah, basically that is the case. Like if you bump into him while he's trying to attack, you risk dying, and you have to reset. And it's a long chapter, so it's basically a reset.
Yeah. Also,
Honestly,
just to let people know, each car has their own body ratings, where some have more HP and attack power than others. Basically, the heavier cars, for the most part, have a better body rating on average. And he's like a big heavy car who's like, when you bump into each other, if you both attack at once, he's gonna win those trades. But he wasn't attacking, so it worked out for him.
I think on very hard they actually have more health than they have on normal. Not 100% sure about that, but it definitely feels like it. Anyways, one of the most infamous chapters in the game. Chapter 5. It's a very simple chapter, but it is precise. The developers really wanted you to retry like crazy here. So we're just gonna do whatever we can do. There isn't actually a whole lot we can do. We can't shift boost, can't really slide. So we're just trying to do the empty boosting, where we let go of the accelerator at the end of the boost to get a little bit of time. And hitting all the capsules is almost essential. You can skip basically 1 or 2 if you're really perfect. So it's a scary chapter. overall. And as you can see, this is a speed run, and we only have like 2 seconds left.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever done it that fast.
Yeah, you're right.
You only had less than 2 seconds left, but that was still really fast. It's mainly just a don't make mistakes chapter. Also, I didn't know about the release the A button at that time period.
Yeah, it gives us about an extra second.
Yeah,
if you do
huge.
it correctly.
That's huge.
If you do it really well, you can almost get 2 seconds actually.
Dang. Yeah, not knowing about that actually changes a lot.
Yeah, it does. Anyways, it's chapter 6. Have you ever seen the somewhat famous movie Speed?
No.
No, I haven't either, but it's basically a movie about a bus which has like a bomb on it, and the bomb activates if the bus goes above 50 miles per hour, and if it goes under 50 miles per hour, the bomb explodes. So that's basically what we have here, except it's going a little bit faster.
Yeah, so if you hit like a wall or bump into someone and your speed goes under 800, then the bomb just explodes.
That is correct.
So it's basically don't make mistakes and don't bump into anyone, don't bump into anything, don't go in the sand which slows you down, or at least save your boost for it and all that.
You could actually get energy from killing the cars here, but it's not worth it because they can bump into you, in front of you, and that will decrease your speed below 800, and it's a reset, just to save half a second. So we're not doing that.
This game looks so good, dude. 2003. Yeah. This game looks so beautiful.
Yeah, it has aged pretty well.
It has.
So there isn't a whole lot to say about it. This chapter, we're just trying to avoid stuff and not fall below the speed limit. There aren't even all that many techniques we could do, like. Since there are rays everywhere, we can't like shift boost to go faster. And MTSing is a pretty popular technique in general, but with the Blue Falcon it's actually a pretty mediocre technique. We only use it for very specific purposes, like you saw in chapter 3 when we went off to the dive, like using the jump plates, then it can be useful. Generally speaking, we don't really use MTSing here. It's just not gonna save any time.
Dude. How do you think, if you didn't know about like the sharp turn, that must be so hard. Like, what did the developers intend you to do, if not for like the quick turn?
I think they intend you to slow down a little bit, and you know, just not crash into a wall, because that's usually what's gonna make you lose the fall below the speed limit or whatever. It's
like so lucky that like the quick turn's even in the game.
So I don't know if you remember this, but this turn
sucked.
Yeah, it
sucked because the first time you're on it, you didn't know. It was hard to react without knowing what's ahead.
Yeah, that's one thing, but it's also a very it's a curved kind of turn, so it slows you down because of the curvature with the geometry.
Oh, I never had that issue. My issue was I either remembered it or I didn't. I never actually slowed down from just the turn itself.
But
this is the hardest chapter.
Yeah, you're right.
This is the hardest chapter.
This is the most infamous chapter. Most people would agree this is the hardest chapter in the game.
Easy, hardest chapter on very hard.
And there are a couple of reasons for that. So the race is basically rigged. Like Black Shadow and Blood Falcon, they are rigged to win the race, basically. And the AI has some kind of rubber banding properties into them, which makes them drive faster if you're ahead of them. So for most people, you're just not gonna be able to outrace them because they're so overpowered when you're ahead of them. So what most people do, they try to kill them, and that's fair game. You could do that. You could kill them and try to win the race more easily. That's what most people have to resort to. But since this is a speedrun, we don't have time to kill them. You have to go fast. So we're just trying to do all kinds of techniques, as you just saw. We had the sliding on the ice.
Oh, you didn't hit the bombs?
You can do, but I didn't do it.
Oh, you just, because it's a marathon, but in a single race, you'd probably do it.
Yeah, in a single race, you would go.
Oh, you just didn't want to risk it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But as you see on the ice there, it is much easier to do like an MTS on the ice. So we always do that there. Like MTSing, as I said, with the Blue Falcon is pretty mediocre, but on the ice it's pretty good. So we always do that and make it into like a side attack dive in the end. It saves a decent amount of time. And whenever we reach the very like slim part of the track, there are no railings there, so we can do some shift boost. But it's extremely risky. Like most people wouldn't even attempt it. But this is something you have to do if you want to outrace them. Because if you look at the minimap, we're doing all kinds of techniques.
And they're still close.
Yeah,
they're not
like
that far ahead,
behind.
considering how many advanced techniques that you're doing that you weren't even... To keep in mind, you're not even supposed to be doing all these advanced techniques. And look how close they are.
The timer says 1.2
Look how close they are. They're right behind him, doing shift boost and all this other stuff. No mistakes.
Yeah.
Super ATs that weren't even intended for the game.
You're right.
Yeah, it's that close.
So I can't take it safe. I can't just take the dash plate there and pretend like they're not there. I have to shift boost to outrace them. There's also I think there's a flaw with the AI in lap 5. Like I don't think the AI actually realizes that it is lap 5. So at the very end, they basically doesn't use a boost at the very end. Like they have like a boost they could have used.
Oh yeah.
But they don't realize it's lap 5.
Whoa,
So-
that was scary, dude. Yo, go back to that. Yo, look. Oh my, yo. Whoa!
Yes,
Did you mean
I
to do
almost
that?
died. I did not intend to do that. It was not on purpose.
Oh, I've
Yes,
never
it-
seen that. That's crazy.
It may have given you a heart attack. So some players sometimes manage to surpass Black Bull at the very end here because they don't use that last boost because
Yeah.
they don't realize it's the final lap. So that's kind of funny.
Dang.
And you saw the time we got there. We got like 2:30.
Yeah.
The AI was basically on track to get like 2:35. Like when you're playing the game for the first time, you're not gonna be able to get a 2:35. You will get like a 2:45 to 2:50.
And
So-
also, another thing to mention, like, a lot of time you're going to, like, trade first, second, third. Like, you're going to pass them and not be past them, but they won't be as fast. If you're ahead of them the whole time, they'll be faster.
yes,
So
They
if
are.
you're actually coming from behind, you can just make it come... A lot of time you race kind of evenly and make it come back at the end.
yeah, you could try to like be somewhat strategic with your boost, so to speak, so that you stay behind them, and they won't have as fast of a pace as if you stay ahead of them. And this is especially true on the Samurai Guru's chapter, where if you boost at the start, he has infinite boost until the end. You're not gonna be able to win if you do that. So it's kind of a silly mechanic in a way. But anyway, we're already into the next chapter here. So we're racing the devil himself in hell, because that's what cool this game is. Yeah. And again, there aren't really any gimmicks in this chapter. Like you just have to win the race. The gimmick is more like there are like a ton of mines everywhere. And as you saw, we used all of the mines we really needed on lap 1. And there are some reasons for that. So the mines give you more speed, but they also get in the way on the boost laps. So we want to get them out of the way, and we also want to go fast on lap 1. So it's kind of the perfect combination to use them.
Yeah, you want to
On
get them
that
out of the way on the first
Yes, correct.
level, the first lap.
So the boost laps is just about memorizing that you have a certain path you have to take. You can't like go in the outer path there because there are mines there. So I'm trying to basically just keep a pretty steady path so I don't bump into mines on accident. So Deathborn isn't particularly fast on this chapter. Like if you're a speedrunner, he isn't. Because he doesn't rubber band that badly, like we just saw with chapter 7.
Yeah. Chapter 7's way harder. Honestly, I think, can't you... I don't remember if you can or can't. Can you lap Deathborn?
You can, and yes, in theory you can lap him, but that's extremely hard.
Do you have to snake to do it?
No, you can do it at max speed, but it has not been done. The closest we've gotten is about 0.3 seconds behind him.
So, it's basically possible. It's just really hard.
It is possible, extremely hard.
Dang, that'd be a funny
with
video.
snaking is pretty easy. With snaking is pretty easy.
Yeah. That just shows the gap between like chapter 7 and a normal chapter like this one.
Yeah.
Based
And
on the AI.
a second last turn there. You're not supposed to be able to take that kind of speed through it, but because of the complexity of the physics of this game, you could basically take almost any turn at any speed because of how much control you have for the vehicle. And that's basically what we're doing. We're basically doing an MTS early on so that we can force the facing angle of the machine much closer to the left early on so that we don't hit the ball right here. See that?
Yeah, there's a lot of advanced control in this game. I compare this game a lot to Melee, actually. Because I think they're both like... They're not the easiest to pick up. Well, Melee's probably a little easier to pick up for like a beginner. But they both have like endless amounts of depth for like top level. They're very comparable in that way, in the ceiling you could reach.
Yeah, there was some research done on just how many internal values this game has for like the stats and the turning and all that. It has like over, I think it's like 30 or so internal values that determines like turning and drag and
oh wow,
and all that kind of
so
thing.
there's a lot of variables, which also means
correct.
depth.
And that's part of the reason why this game is so special. You have so much control of the vehicle and you can do so much things like this. So this is actually, in my opinion, in the speedrun, this is the hardest chapter. But when you're playing the game normally,
it's the easiest,
not quite the hardest.
Because in the speedrun, you just want to be as fast as... It's only hard in the speedrun because you don't want to... For what you're doing is, you're doing 9 chapters in a row without failing.
Yeah, it's hard to get to this point without dying.
Yeah.
You can't die in the speedrun because it wastes too much time. So you only get 1 life. And most people would say just doing very hard in this game with 1 life is hard enough, you know. And we're trying to go fast and basically sacrificing our life at the edge here.
Yeah.
And we could actually do more risks here, but it's just nobody has been able to do it, or has been willing to try and do it. Like we could probably save another 20 seconds, but it's so risky to do so.
Yeah,
like,
every shift boost helps you a lot, but every shift boost, if you're off by like a frame or 2, you just immediately die.
Yes. You're great.
Would you say the shift boosts are frame perfect?
So the timing actually depends. Like it can be frame perfect. It can actually be a 0 frame window if you leave the track incorrectly. Oh. And sometimes it's more lenient. It's like could be between 2 and 4 frames.
Oh, so it could be
stuff like that.
It could be a 0 frame, which means even if you're perfect, it won't work. Or it could be as big as a 4 frame window, depending on a bunch of variables.
Yeah. So generally speaking, the faster you're going, the window actually increases. So the worst part is actually trying to build your speed. So without shift boosting, this chapter would take about 2 minutes and like 8 seconds. So we did it in like 1 minute and 54. So saved a pretty decent amount of time just from shift boosting. And that's basically the whole story mode.
This plot is so stupid. Like there's Deathborn and the magical belt and the 2 halves, and there's like there's the 3 gods, and it's like what? I had no idea what was going on with this whole the Deathborn thing was a little silly. And then you had like the 3 mystical gods. Is like just some random developer doing a mediocre, not even the best possible run of like that level.
But I mean, what do you expect? You're trying to make like a story of a freaking racing game.
I don't know about Chapter 9, man. I mean, it could have ended on 7 or 8.
Yeah, I guess
8 was kind of sus, and then 9 was
satisfying that way.
Okay, 7 was a good ending. 8 was like also acceptable, and then 9 is like, what is this? like what even is? Because we skipped this cutscene so you don't see, but it was like these 3 things that are like, the 3 gods, and you have to beat them in a race because and then we lost the race, so we're gonna disappear. So I'm like, what? Try to make a plot out of this.
The cutscene in this game is actually really stupid, like every one of them. But they're so stupid in a way that it actually becomes funny.
Yeah, no, it's actually funny.
Yeah, we have to skip all of them since it's speedrun, but
we're seeing some now.
It's something you can look up, like all the cutscenes are like really stupid.
So yeah, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys want more F-Zero GX videos in the near future, let me know in the comments below. with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Crazy Game Nerds info will be linked in YouTube description below, and I will see you guys next time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell before leaving. Later.